Greetings, I'm Reverend Tiffany White, Sage Woman, and I was inspired to make this video and to talk about what I'm going to talk about. Of course, from the angels and guides, and this always seems to come to me so much clearer and so much stronger when I am washing dishes or whether in the shower. How many people experience that? It's like, with the water, it's very conductive, and it seems like, wow, I get a lot of really clear information coming through. And it's interesting because I'm rinsing everything off down the drain that's not a part of me. It's not for my highest and greatest. And then it's like, as you're doing this, as you're opening and clearing and taking care of your channel, you're receiving things a lot clearer. And you do this several times a day, not to take a shower, but I'm saying cleansing yourself, your aura, your space, whether it's with incense. So I do that a lot. But then that's fire energy, the smoke. So we need both, the water and that fire type of energy, one you're going to respond to a little bit more. But anyway, the topic for this particular discussion for this video is rejection. I've noticed a lot of reading sessions and healing sessions, and even just experiences in my life recently that we really need to kind of discuss this a little bit more. And I guess it's the angels and that want to talk about this, and the high vibrational beings. And I just want to clarify something here. When I say high vibrational, it's a frequency that's high. We as humans, we identify as high, low, up, down. We identify this way. So it's not so much that it is a literal high, because I don't want people to think that someone's better than another. They're not. We all work in different frequencies, on different vibrations and different levels. I want you to keep in mind that energy is not a straight line up and down. Energy is, look at that. Are we up or down? Are we up or down? If you're tracing the figure 8 or the infinity sign, are we up and down? And if we're in space and we're moving like this, are we up and down? Who knows what up and down is at this point? We're not up and down. It just explains our ascension process. All right, that's all. Ascending, expanding our consciousness, all right, and our awareness, and reconnecting back with the divine being. So a lot of the divine channeling that I do has always been like the angelic realm, even we think the alien realm. It's our ascended light beings. And now ascended to a lot of people is they were in human form and they worked on their ascension. Not every light being was in human form. So it's just know that it just comes from a very high frequency, this type of message, and it's to help everybody become more balanced. So a popular theme, or a little what I've heard lately, is rejection is protection. Yes and no, because if you stick with that, it can kind of make you not see the whole picture in a lot of cases. So what I heard, and I was going through, wow, that the rejection feeling, of course we know, is all tied to self-worth. And we can come to that. We'll get back to that soon here. But rejection, we've heard rejection is protection, like I've just said a few moments ago. And not always. Now, and as far as maybe a new job, you put in for applications and you don't get that, then sure, in those particular cases, or a rejection in a relationship right off the bat, those are protection, not so much against negativity, but it's protection of your divine mission. It was protection because maybe that situation or that person wasn't for your highest and greatest. That's all that means. We shouldn't judge. We shouldn't say that as far as, okay, I was protected from something bad. Rejection is actually, what I was hearing was, rejection is redirection. Rejection is redirection. It's that sound that goes off, recalculating on our spiritual GPS. That's all it is. When we try to overanalyze, whether it's to soothe our hurt feelings or whatever it is, we really need to be honest and truthful with ourselves. All right? And we're talking about this because we're coming to, it is the holiday season. Some people avoid family and friends, and especially if they feel rejected, or it makes them question their self-worth. So where does this programming come in from? A lot of us bring this programming into this past life. From past lives into this life. How many of us were imprinted with it from our parents or whoever raised us, or even whoever we were exposed to who imprinted this on us? Just know that if somebody was imprinting this on us, that it was imprinted upon them as well. All right? So, hold on just one moment. I'm trying to slow it down. The information coming in is like, whoo. Okay. So, thank you. Just take a deep breath here. All right. So, back to that. So, the rejection is a redirection. Many times, so here we go. You say that people, even in relationships, this ended, oh my goodness, I was protected. You were protected. Okay, your mission was protected. You listened and you redirected yourself, right? But how about if there's high vibrational beings, people that come together, whether it's relationship wise and it just didn't work out that way, or if it was partnership of any kind, any type of experiences, and it's even if something that's meant to be short-term, temporary, we want to cling on to things as humans, don't we? And we want to just seem like, oh my goodness, I have to hold on to this. I don't like change. I have to hold on to this situation. I have to hold on to this job forever. I have to hold on, especially if it pays good and the benefits are good, and there's benefits, period. And then certain relationships, I just want to hold on to this forever. This is a lesson that we are constantly learning, that we are energetic, divine beings, and the universe is constantly changing. Constant change. All right? So we're constantly changing and evolving. We need to not hold on to things that were in the past. So if you have two light beings that come together, they did a job together, they completed their mission, and it's time to move on, and one doesn't want to move on. One wants to be bitter because the partnership or maybe whatever didn't work out. Are you looking at the failure of the partnership? How about you look at why you were brought together in the first place? I always, me personally, and this again is not saying that it's better than anybody else. I'm just using, this is what I have to do every day, is have a meeting with my angelic committee. Have a meeting with them every day before I do something, before I move in a direction, to make sure that my GPS is set correctly. So if I had heard it's a go with a situation and I go for it, And then, as with anything, and I'm finding this out, picking on really, really quick, that sometimes these partnerships are much more temporary than I thought, had anticipated, and have learned not to plan that it would be a certain length of time. But just to know that when people are brought together, it's for the betterment of humanity. It's for the betterment of everyone else. Take yourself out of the situation. When it's over, it's over. When you two are done, it's done. Let's move on. All right? If you're going to be bitter and hold on to it and blame, I think, why do we have to explain when something doesn't work out? It's just time to move on. And instead, let's be grateful of all the people that we helped, all the healing that has taken place, the times that we were brought together, that the situations and events and any type of partnerships came together. It was powerful. It's powerful. And we helped so many people. And so then now, all right, I recognize it's time to go, it's time to move on, or whoever, it's time to move on. Let's move on. And if sometimes both people are if they are in tune and listen and understand, it is time to move on. Let's move on. It doesn't mean that we're taking this action personally, and we stay in contact and keep, conversing with each other, whatever, and still be supportive spiritually and energetically. But, aspects change, and we have to honor that change. Or we can hold on and be resentful to it ending and make excuses. Oh, I was protected from negativity. Well, I wouldn't say that, because I was guided to do this particular task with the particular people involved. So I knew good was going to come from that. Good has come from it. And I also honor and respect that it's time to move on for everyone's highest and greatest that's involved. So, hey, let's look forward to, even if it's scary, to what lies ahead. Okay, this is great. It's time for a change. And we can be so bitter if we hold on to what it maybe costed us physically. And what do I mean by that? By, was it something that you physically had to participate in, whether it was a work or even, and like money-wise too. Did you invest money into something, into what you thought was going to get a return from? Know that you always get a return, but it's in a different direction that you put it in. So there's so many reasons, or whatever reasons that we have coming together with someone. And if we only have the intention for our happiness, for our outcome, we're failing to see the whole picture. Absolutely we are. And sure, it's exciting when we start something, whatever it is, it can be scary, it can be exciting, and those energies and let's go, all this creativity is flowing. But when the situation is done and the beams of healing light have been planted, all right, and have been seeded, we've sprinkled these light seeds everywhere. Now let's move on and go someplace else. And a lot of times it's not in the same direction. So rejection is a redirection. The job is complete, and now I'm being called here, you're being called here, or if it's a team of people, we're being called in different directions. And that's okay. We've got to honor that and respect that. Absolutely. And I, I'm not saying that, I'm totally okay with this. And it's taken me a long time and a lot of experiences to finally catch on and go, well, we do have a choice. We do have choices. We can be angry, bitter, and upset, or I want to see the whole picture. Show me, please, everything. Show me the good. Good and bad is part of the whole. They're not separate. And when we get stuck on one thing, we're not seeing the whole picture. And what really helps me to see the whole picture and to stay balanced, because balance is the key, is I like to say affirmations, which if anyone who watches my shows, Spiritual Insight, I talk about that a lot. That a lot of balancing messages come through and is channeled. So most definitely balance is the key, right? So staying balanced and sorry, my nose is itching. Angel wings. Energy. Anyway, so cute. Now, and I have to tell you, when my youth, I've always communicated with the angels and the light beings. I would see them as columns of light. I didn't never see them with angels until I saw pictures of what angels are supposed to look like, and they're winged beings. And I can understand that, again, high, flying high above the earth, that type of symbolism. So I understood that. Okay, so it's taken me a long time to get to that. You're right. We do have a choice on how we want to react or respond to situations and to relationships and situations. And I have come to honor that, let's honor the time we are together. And if we were called to do separate things, that's great. We have to honor our mission. So one of the affirmations I like to say, my daily affirmations too, is that my highest and greatest is in alignment with humanity's highest and greatest. This takes the me, personally, how do I feel? Oh my gosh, what? The meltdown from happening when there's a shift and a change. I catch myself now if I start to feel that. It's okay if you want to feel it. The thing is that when people lash out in this state, we really need to remove ourselves from public, put ourselves in a timeout, analyze how we feel, ask ourselves some questions, be honest with how we're feeling. Now let's balance it out. It's not bad that you feel that way. This is how we're made. So let's go through it, and then let's soothe ourselves, not lie to, but let's be honest with. And the biggest thing is when you start to recognize where this rejection, what's the root of your rejection? What and where is the root of your rejection? Is it from particular family members? Is it from a person? Is it from a situation? Is it, what's making you question your self-worth? And you'll find that it's different with each relationship ending, with each situation ending, with each, maybe job change, with, we feel like we weren't rejected or like we weren't good enough. No, we're so good, we're needed someplace else. How about we change our thinking that way? Yeah, I feel the sting. Rejection has a sting. But that's okay. It just shows that we're alive. That sting is like a pinch. We're alive. Let's embrace this and let's move forward. And keep on helping others. And when we are helping others, we are helping ourselves along this ascension process. All right. So again, that affirmation is, I am in harmony. My highest and greatest, let's start it again. Sorry. My highest and greatest is in harmony, is in alignment with humanity's highest and greatest. I also like to do a lot of I am, so that's why I started off with I am. So I am multidimensional. I am expanded consciousness. And so, but I found that what helps balance me quickly and to take myself out of a pity party very quick is my highest and greatest is in alignment and in harmony with humanity's highest and greatest. We're here for a much bigger picture, for whatever our mission is. And yeah, that's great. And it is accelerating. It is picking up. And we catch on very quick. And if people do lash out, they've got to do what they've got to do to feel better. All right? I put myself in a timeout. I refuse to say anything bad or negative about a situation or a person or anything like that, because I have to understand that there's good embedded in that as well. And I put myself in timeout so I don't spit out venom from my mouth, or that I don't, my goodness, now publicly go on social networks and put a post or anything, or definitely I don't make a video when I'm angry. That's a lot of direction. It's like shooting an arrow at somebody, a very negative and poisonous arrow. And I do not want to harm anyone. I don't want to harm humanity. Releasing is very important, yes, but do it in private. You know, and there's times when my husband could walk in from work and I'm in the middle of a meltdown. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to hit you with it. Go run to my room and shut the door. Go run to the room, shut the door, or run to another room and shut the door, and just be like, no, I put myself in timeout. And if you have to, I'm very vocal, so I will say it out loud. But as I'm doing that, I'm smudging it. I'm making sure my dragon's right there going, burn it up as soon as it comes out of my mouth. Burn it up, because I don't want to direct this energy anywhere else. I need to release it out of my body, out of my aura for my healing. I need to just release it. We're going to exterminate it. And not really exterminate it, but it gets rebalanced. Dragons know how to do that. Angels know how to do that. Knows how to, the alchemy of changing and balancing situations. That's what true alchemy is. Balance. Taking the negative and the positive, which are part of the whole. And you could never say you want to avoid negative situations. What are you going to learn from that? Nothing. I'll tell you that. So honestly, if I'm faced with a negative situation, I know that there's positive. There's a lesson to be learned out of it. But I am protected from an absolute sabotage. All right. And what I mean by that is that, you know, our angels and guides are not going to put us into a situation where we're just, you know, like swimming with sharks with a cut, with an open wound. All right. That's just sabotage and martyring ourselves. We don't have to do that at all in this lifetime. We're way beyond that in humanity's ascension process. So no one has to martyr or sacrifice himself anymore for anything, for any belief system, for anything. All right, now we're all just helping each other, light workers, whatever term we want to call it, you know, spiritual warriors. We're all coming together, reconnecting with our soul families. And even when we work with our soul families, it's not always the same. So imagine like you have a circle of 12. These circles of 12 change. Sometimes they interact with other circles of 12. And then some of the members of the circle of 12 goes to another circle. And others come in and sit in the sacred circle and you do your work together. Or just, and it's always changing and evolving. And the people that you work with do change. And it's, our guides change. We have special guides that come in and help us when we have special tasks at hand. So why wouldn't any type of partnership change? Absolutely. So just know this and embrace every part of your life. And when I say embrace every part of your life, you need to not get stuck with, oh, I need to embrace if I had physical pain, if I was abused, and this, that, and the other. why are you here, first off? And when we understand what our mission is, it helps us. We don't get so defensive and push back. When, you know, and I know that we can do that. When we have done that. As a society, somebody can say something really beautiful, and all it takes is one person to say, I'm offended by this comment because I take it to mean this, and it can just domino effect, right? So, but if everyone takes that moment, that pause to, well, wait a minute. The person's intention's very good. Their intention isn't to brainwash. Let me look at the whole thing, the whole picture, and not be so quick to, well, I'm going to spin it this way. That's fine, however way you want to spin it. But is your spinning in harmony with humanity? Is it harming anyone else? Because there is a harm none spiritual law, that law of oneness. That law of oneness. So this is why I'm very careful with when I need to release something. I will not harm anyone else with the energy that I do need to get out. And a lot of us are like that. Because if we don't explode, we're going to implode. And I saw implosion. I saw it happen with my mom. I saw her implode and activate cancer in her body. I saw how dangerous it is to hold it in and implode. So I've always been very explosive ever since I was young because of that. But I've learned how to harness and to channel and to discipline my explosion. All right? And to honor it and to make sure that no one is harmed in the process. So rejection is a redirection on our spiritual GPS. And we should thank you for the experience. And we don't have to understand. We might not understand. We usually don't understand right away, but it always does come to us later on when we go, I get it now. Oh, that's so cool. Especially because if I was still involved with this, I might not have been, doing this, what I'm doing now, or taken to this other project, or doing this and doing that. Again, all for the betterment of humanity. Because where you go and spread your love and your light, planting these white, beautiful columns of energy, like huge crystal towers. We are, and it's just so powerful. It really, really is. And you can ask to see it. Little sparks go off and hear it, high-pitched tones. So it's all very beautiful. I just wanted to share this with you. When they really come in like this hard and fast, I got to sit down immediately. It's funny because I was like, I wasn't dressed to do a video, so to speak. I want to put on a nice blouse. I want to do this. Like, my guides, yes, they do. I get this sigh, eye rolls, whatever. I do get that. And they're like, seriously? Is it about you? And I'm like, oh, no, it's not about me. You're right. I just need to go deliver the message while it's right here, while it's still fresh. Because if we don't sit down or write, if writing's your thing, or we make a video and we talk about it, I'm a talker, always been. I go too fast to write. If I do journal, I pace myself, slow myself down enough to journal, but to sit down and write all of this out, I'd be more frustrated than anything, and it would close that channel. So for me, the divine channeling is better with the vocal cords, with the speaking, with it just as it's coming in. I'm just releasing it this way. Other divine channels, there's great writers who are divine channels. They sit down and they just write it all out. Artists who draw it out. Other artists, musicians who play it out in the musical notes. It's also very beautiful. It's just different forms of mediumship. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. And my website is whitesagewoman.com, SAGE, whitesagewoman.com. If you would like to contact me, please do so through my website. If you would like to have any other types of topics discussed, please share that with me, and I can either do a video, I can ask the guides and the angels in the high vibrational realm to let's have some insight on this, or I could save it for a topic for the Spiritual Insight show that are live Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time via Be Live TV on Facebook, on the Goldylocks Productions Facebook page. So I hope that everyone tunes in, and just want to make sure that we're all good here. Yep, all right. That's everything that they wanted me to say at this particular time. Get it all out and share with you, each of you, to let's watch ourselves. We don't want to get rid of negativity. We want to balance negativity. We want to balance the light. I don't want to be blinded by the light. I want to be balanced. Balance, balance, balance. And in harmony with humanity's highest and greatest. Namaste, everyone. Many blessings.